creating this presentation as an information resource to enable you to get better control of your cooling and heating costs while you enjoy the comfort of your home. I'll be sharing with you a heat lamp box demonstration. This box represents two homes. On one side is a house with traditional or conventional insulation. On the other side, you have a house with traditional or conventional insulation and a layer of our Genie Radiant Barrier. The lamps in the heat box represent the sun beating down on the roof of our homes. You'll see very quickly how on the side that has the conventional insulation, the temperatures rise. That's because with conventional insulation, it just slows down the conduction and convection types of energy and doesn't do anything about the radiant heat, which is what the sun gives off. You'll see that the side that has the layer of our Genie Radiant Barrier on it just goes up a degree or two. What does that mean to you? It means that your home will be much more energy efficient. It means that your home will be cooler in the summer and not need you to run that air conditioner for most of the time just to keep it cool. It also means it will keep that warm air in your home in the winter exactly where you want it. It's that simple. We've seen temperature changes in the attic ranging from 30 to 50 degrees when using our Genie Radiant Barrier. Our product is made with NASA technology and is a Class A and Class 1 rated for fire resistance. That means it's fireproof. NASA discovered that there is a thin reflective material that stops up to 97% of radiant heat transfer. Now, this technology is available to us. It saves us money on our energy bills and helps us deal with the extreme temperatures here on Earth. It's also a green product because unlike traditional insulation that you need to update every 36 months because it shrinks or settles, you only need to do this once. Here are a couple of quick facts. There are 132 million households in the United States, and the Department of Energy states that homes not specifically designed for efficiency do not have the recommended amount of insulation. Of those 132 million households, 85% of them are not energy efficient, according to the United States Department of Energy. What's in your attic? A basic law of physics is that heat always moves to cold. In the summertime, heat wants to get inside your cool house. In the wintertime, heat wants to get outside of your warm house. The key to reducing utility cost is effective heat management. The common knowledge solution is adding more insulation. More is not always better. Let's take a look at heat. In the house, we have three kinds of heat. We have conductive heat, convective heat, and radiant heat. For illustration purposes, I'm walking into the house and there's a fire going on in the fireplace. I feel the radiant heat on my body and on my face. It's warming me up. I look into the fireplace and I see the smoke going up the chimney. That's convective heat. I take the poker and I put it in the fire and I feel the heat coming up and warming my hand. That's conductive heat. In your house, the purpose of insulation is to delay conductive heat loss. As temperature and humidity increase, the ability for fiberglass insulation to delay conductive heat loss is dramatically reduced. In the summer, 93% of the heat gain in the attic is radiant heat. The energy from the sun heats up the insulation. The insulation absorbs the heat and releases it into the inside of the house. In the winter, 50 to 75% of the heat loss is radiant heat. Insulation in the attic absorbs it and releases it into the attic. Convection causes warm air to rise and the heat is lost. Radiant Barrier is your home's first line of defense against radiant heat gain and radiant heat loss. The purpose of a radiant barrier is to reflect radiant heat. In the summer, 95 to 97% of the radiant heat is reflected back to its original source, which reduces the amount of heat that insulation has to manage, which helps to delay that transfer of heat into your living space. In the winter, Radiant Barrier reflects 95% of the heat back into the living space. Unlike fiberglass insulation, the Radiant Barrier's efficiency is not affected by humidity or temperature increases. The hotter it gets, the better it works. The colder it gets, the better it works. What is our value? When we talk about some of the older technology or types of insulation, like the expensive foam, blown-in insulation, or fiberglass batt insulation, the R value is a measurement of its effectiveness. All that R value tells you is how long the insulation delays the heat transfer from your attic to your living space. In effect, it buys you time. Radiant Barrier doesn't delay the transfer of heat, it immediately reflects it back to its source. That's the big difference. Our Radiant Barrier products do have an R value for building code purposes. If you compare just adding additional traditional insulation like fiberglass or cellulose, or adding a layer of our Genie Radiant Barrier, it's like comparing apples to oranges. Traditional insulation only delays heat transfer. Radiant Barrier stops it and reflects it back to its source. Installing a Radiant Barrier in your attic reduces the amount of radiant heat gain in the summer, which reduces the air conditioner runtime, which reduces the amount of electricity you use, and it keeps your home nice, cool, and comfortable. Here's a great visual of what happens in the winter. This attic was lined with the Radiant Barrier everywhere except this one section, and after the first snowfall, you can see where the snow melted and where it didn't have the barrier to keep the heat in. Here's a picture of 3 new homes side by side in a development. One has Radiant Barrier. Which 2 are heating the neighborhood instead? Here you can see how builder's grade insulation works in a new home. The eaves are acting like an insulation every 16 inches. The rest is paid for, but is being wasted. Radiant Barrier may be stapled to the rafters or laid upon the insulation in your attic. Radiant Barrier is an investment, but not a cost. According to an AARP study, the number 1 improvement yielding the highest return on investment was insulating the attic, a whopping 117% return on your investment. When you install a Radiant Barrier in your home, it provides a permanent reduction in your utility costs for the life of your home. Energy costs continue to rise. As energy costs rise, the dollar amount of your savings also rises. The federal government is predicting a 6 to 10% increase annually in utility costs over the next 10 years. I looked at my actual costs of heating and cooling for the year prior to installing this product in my own home, and with a minimum of 25% savings, which is what we guarantee here at Green Energy New England, my family will save roughly $17,000 to $20,000 over the course of 10 years, depending on if the federal government raises costs 6% on the low end or 10% on the high end. Over the last 10 years, we've seen an actual increase of 54%. Think about how that increase will continue to impact your family's budget over time. Here at Green Energy New England, we help stop homeowners from giving away their money to the power companies and keeping more in their pocket where it belongs. By doing nothing, you are essentially flushing your money down the toilet. So, let's start investing that money in our homes, in our family's health and comfort. Act today and start saving money right away.